What's going on, chicken friends? It's Donna Little from the Coop Scoop, and ouch, I'm getting pecked really hard in the side. I thought I would give you guys a little update on what's been going on with Autumn. And I know this is the chicken channel, but I get asked a lot about her. You know, if somebody sees her in the background of a video, they'll say, you know, oh, it's so good to see Autumn again. I haven't seen her lately. And if people don't see her, they'll ask, you know, where she's been or if she's okay. And she has actually been making a little bit of progress. So if you're kind of new to the channel and you don't know who I'm talking about, Autumn is a little feral cat that took up here about 1.5 years ago, I guess. So I'll give you a little bit of background on her if you don't know who she is. Last summer, she showed up in our yard with her mom and siblings as a tiny little kitten. They were probably 5 or 6 weeks old. And the mom would bring them out here into our backyard, and we would watch them from the back porch. And, you know, they'd play out here after I put the chickens up for the night. So we saw them for probably about a month, and then they just disappeared. Now, we have a lot of feral cats around here, so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that was out of the ordinary about it is the fact that they were here for so long, because I'll see feral cats pass through the yard all the time. But they all disappeared except for the kitten. And she was, I don't know, I would say, if I had to guess, maybe about 9 weeks old when siblings and mom vanished. She just took up with the chickens. And so, you know, all I can think is, I don't want to get into this. You know, Mark and I have never really been cat people. And while I like cats okay, I just have never wanted one. And he's kind of one of those, like, no, I don't, cats are weird. You know, he just, that's how he thinks, you know, like they're just weird. He just never wanted one. Never had a cat in his life. I grew up with them, but I am much more of a dog person. And so I have just never had a cat that was, you know, even as a child, that was really like special to me. We, you know, my mom is a cat person and my sister is, and so they were more like theirs, and I had the dogs. So when this little kitten just kept staying, you know, I felt kind of bad for her, because I was like, I'm not feeding this cat, I'm not getting into that. You know, if she's a little torty, so I know it's a female, and if she ends up staying, I'm going to have her spayed, or there's going to be a million kittens around here. I don't want to do that. And apparently, we were definitely chosen by this cat. And she had other plans for us. So she just continued to stay. And every single day, when I would come out here and take care of the chickens, she was just out here with them. And of course, she wouldn't come anywhere near me. And I guess when it started to get cold, I really started to feel bad for her, because I would walk or look out the window and she would be on my back porch in a chair, you know, like just curled up in a ball. And I knew she was cold, and I just thought, once again, like, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to, no, I am not taking care of a cat, especially one that won't ever come to me or let me touch her or anything. I'm just, no, I'm not doing it. And so I came out one day and walked to the coop, you know, just to make sure they had food or whatever, the chickens, and she was eating chicken feed. And so I said to Mark, you know, that poor little cat was out there eating some of the chicken's food, and I was like, there is, you know, nothing in chicken food that would make a cat even be attracted to it. So it was kind of pitiful, because she must be really hungry. And he said, yeah, she's been coming up on the porch. And I was like, yeah, I've seen her, you know, on the porch sleeping in the chair. And he goes, well, I kind of like her. And I literally was just like, what? Because you don't like cats? What do you mean you kind of like her? And he said, well, just buy her some food. And I was like, I can't feed her without spaying her, because not that she seems to be leaving anyway, but she's definitely never going to leave if we start feeding her. And so he was like, well, just see if you can find a place. And I was literally going like, I don't know who you are. Like, this is so weird. And he's like, she's just cute, you know, I like how she hangs out with the chickens. And so I was like, okay. And so apparently, you know, fate was happening, because I was able to trap her, and I took her and got her spayed, and I really didn't know she would even hang out anymore. Like, I didn't know if she would be so traumatized by that, if she would just you know, when I let her back out again, if she would just take off and never come back. But I brought her in the house, and I took her from the tiny cat crate, or the trap, I mean, it wasn't a crate, and I just opened the door, and she ran into a bigger crate that I had, and I kept her overnight just to make sure, you know, she was gonna be okay. And the next day I brought her out. Hi, girl. And when I brought her out, I opened the crate, and I really honestly expected her to just bolt. And she ran into the middle of the chickens, and they were all, you know, kind of gathered around, and she just rolled over on her back like, I'm back home with my family. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. So from that point forward, Mark literally made it a mission to befriend this cat. And, you know, honestly, it's one of those things, clearly it was just meant to be, because, you know, even though, like I said, I like cats, okay, we've never wanted one, you know, together. And he ended up, girl, do not knock this camera down. That's Miss Lindy. Scoot over, girl. So he would sit on the porch every day and put the bowl of food, you know, a few feet away from him, and then a little bit closer, until finally one day he was like, are you trying to climb up me? He was able to finally keep his hand on the bowl, and she came up and ate out of the bowl. Okay, are you going up? I mean, what are we doing? She was literally like climbing up my chest. I'm sorry, but that starts to get a little painful. So it took her a while before she would let me touch her, because he was really working on it, you know, befriending her. And then she kind of only trusted me if he was involved, if he was sitting there beside me. And I have a little experience with feral dogs. Never dealt with a feral cat before, but years ago I got a little Chihuahua, and he was a puppy mill dog, and he had never been handled to speak of, or probably never been handled in a nice way. And he came to live with me when he was old. He was, I don't know, I think 14 or something like that when I ended up getting him. And he was just completely shut down. I doubt he had ever lived outside of a cage, and so he didn't know what to do. So he just stayed in the dog bed and faced the wall. And as time went on, and I kind of just tried to let him be, he started, you know, coming out of the dog bed, and he would interact with my other dogs and stuff like that. But it was almost like he had to do something and then do it over and over again. And then he wouldn't do anything new for a long time. And then he would learn something new, you know, and feel safe doing it. And so I had him about 4 months before he ever approached me. And I was on the screened porch, and he came walking up to me and put his paw up on my leg and scratched at my leg like he wanted to be picked up. And he let me pick him up, and he seemed very pleased with himself, and he lay down beside me, and he went to sleep. And I just thought, what a huge breakthrough. Well, that was the only place that he would do that. If we were in the house, he wouldn't come near me. If I was even sitting in a different chair on the porch, he wouldn't come near me. So it was almost like he, I guess the way his little mind was working is like I walked up to her while she was in this chair, and it was safe and it was okay. And so every time I would sit in that chair, he would immediately come up to me. The cat has been sort of like that too. So it has been almost a year now, or right around a year, that we had her spayed, and it's just been a slow progression. And so when people see her in my videos, sometimes they get very adamant that I need to bring my cat in the house, and then I have to explain, like, she still gets really scared inside the house. She doesn't trust me, and she doesn't trust Mark if she's in a different setting. If I'm out here in the yard and she sees me sitting down, she's all over me. She'll sit in my lap, she's purring, but in the house, over the summertime, or when it's nice outside and it's not too cold, we would leave our back door open because we have a screened porch. And she'll come up on the porch and sometimes come in. But if she comes in and she sees me, then she runs back out of the house. Or she sees Mark, she runs back out of the house. And she really, really has trusted him a lot more than she's trusted me. And even then, it was just a whole new world for her to be inside. So I would have to sort of explain that to people. Like, I know she doesn't appear to be feral, but it's, on top of the fact that I have a little dog that absolutely hates cats. And I was like, I'm just not going to, make her last years of her life because she's older, unhappy, and, because she hates this cat, or she hates all cats, really. But this is the only one that she sees on a regular basis. So as it started to get closer to winter this year, I was thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I really don't want this little cat, because as much as I have always, said I don't want a cat, resistance is sometimes futile, apparently. And I have a cat. So she, I was just worried about her getting too cold this winter. So I ended up, saying to Mark, what if we let her in the back room, because there's a doggy door there. Could we, help her to figure out how to use this doggy door? And we just keep that room shut off, and that way she wouldn't be wandering around the house. The dog wouldn't be flipping out every time she sees her, and then I wouldn't also have to worry about her getting in my aquariums, because the few times that she has come in the house, she's very interested in the aquariums, and I'm afraid she'll end up, jumping up and falling in. So I was like, that would actually be ideal if we could get her to sleep in that back room. And he was like, yes, I like the thought of that, because, last year I did end up, after I realized she was going to stay, after we had her spayed, I put her a little dog crate out there, and I wrapped it in a blanket, and I put a heating pad in there for her. But I was always worried, that what if the heating pad goes out and I don't know it, and it's, really, really cold that night. I want her to be comfortable and not be freezing cold. So this would be like the ideal situation. So that's kind of where I've been since we've, had her and gotten her to trust us enough to touch her. Is it sort of stayed the same. She's just outside, and she would, like I said, cruise into the back door every now and then, when we weren't looking. But in the last few weeks, I have really worked on getting her to come in that back room, and she just wasn't getting the doggy door. So I was back there one day working on a piece of furniture, and I refinished furniture, so if I have anything to work on, I'll just work on it in that room, like paint it or whatever. So I had a piece of furniture back there, and I just left the door open, and she came walking in, and when she saw me, she immediately ran back out, and but then she came back to the door about 2 or 3 minutes later. She was back at the door, like, peeking in. So I just ignored her and went about my business and what I was doing. And she walked around the other side of the bed and hopped up on the bed. And the whole time she was watching me. And then she just laid down on the bed and took a nap. And that was probably close to a month ago, actually, when that happened. And I was just like, oh, my gosh, how sweet. She's up here taking a nap, and I, had already shut the back door, and so I thought, hopefully she'll not flip out, but so I just left her in the room, and, shut the door behind me, and when I came back in there, she was gone, so she had figured out the doggy door, and since then, she still, has gotten used to, on the days that she will go into the house while we're out having coffee, she's familiar with going in the back door, and that bedroom is right, like you have to go through the laundry room into that room, so it's right there. So because she does seem to trust Mark more, he started, like, he would get her bowl of food, because we give her a little bowl of food every evening, and he would take her bowl of food and, shake it so she would hear it, and then she would follow him into that room. But I was like, I still want her to really know how to use this doggy door. I don't know if she got scared that first day and just, finally bolted out of it and couldn't remember how to get back in or out of it again, because I'd never seen her use it. So I called her in one day while I just saw her sitting on the porch over there where the doggy door is, and I just opened it up and stood out of her line of vision and held it open, and she came in it, and I let it swing shut again, and then she took herself back out of it a few minutes later. So it took her a little while to, I guess feel safe going in and out that door. And it's always like, one step forward, and then we have to just stay there for a little while. Like, okay, I know how to do the doggy door. Nothing bad happened, and then we just are at that level of trust for a while. But in the last couple of weeks, she has started bringing herself in at night, and I don't really see her in there during the day. We had rain about, I don't know, like 5 days ago, 6 days ago, something like that. And she did bring herself in that day. And I walked back there just, to do something or get something, and she happened to be just snoozing on the bed. And she's, had started bringing herself in now at night. So for probably the past couple of weeks, she slept in there every night. And she's comfortable enough, for me to come back there and hang out with her for a little while, because I do feel kind of bad because she's now in the house, but she's still not with us, hanging out. And while I know, being a feral cat, she has hit the jackpot. Just being able to, be tamed and understand what it's like to have love and affection. Still, I feel kind of bad because, she's not getting to just sort of chill with us while we're watching TV or something. So every night I'll go back there and I bring my little Chihuahua. And he gets along with every animal. He's not like the other dog we have. And so he'll lay down on the bed with me, and I'll just sit there and watch videos or something and hang out with her for a little while. And so, oh my gosh, it has taken our little relationship to a whole new level, because now that I'm not seen as any kind of threat to her at all, she is just all over me. So it's really been very special to me, because I have not had ever really my own cat, and so she loves Mark to death. But I will be back there with her for a little while every evening, and I get all this, love from her, and it really is just special. So now, the thing that she is so cute, she wants to snuggle up with my Chihuahua so bad, and while he doesn't mind her, he wants her to leave him alone. He's a little old dog, and he just wants to be left alone. So every night she has to have a little moment, like he'll go to sleep and she creeps up and she's like, yeah, I've got him where I want him now. And she'll try to snuggle up with him, and as soon as he realizes it's her, he has to make a run for it. But that is what is going on. And so she has definitely gone from completely feral to the sweetest little thing. And I am now, I'm a cat and a dog person. So I'm really, really happy that this has happened. And she apparently did choose us, and we didn't get a say-so in the matter. And I have a cat. I really, really have a cat. So maybe one day she'll be completely indoors. I still am not going to try to do that while our little other old dog is around. But I don't want to make her life unhappy. Every time she sees the cat, she goes completely crazy. So we're going to keep things like they are, but now I know every night that she's safe and secure in the house and not going to be too cold. But what made me actually think to make this video is I'm just getting things ready for Thanksgiving, and everybody's going to be at my house in a couple of days. And I walked back there in the back room to put something back there, and she was on the bed having a nap. And that's the first time I've really come back there. And like I said, she came in the day that it was raining, but when there's for no reason, it's beautiful out here today, she was just like, I'm tired. I'm coming in. I'm getting away from these crazy chickens. But that is what is going on with our sweet little Autumn. So I just thought I'd give you guys an update. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day, and that you're also going to have a fantastic, happy, family and love-filled Thanksgiving. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, I hope that you'll do that and hit that notification bell. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you in the next video.